For a more flexible educational approach, Catherine envisions a future where George grows into his role on his own terms, guided by a sense of duty but free from undue pressure. This philosophy reflects a broader movement within the monarchy to prioritize well-being and relatability in leadership. Public reaction to this potential clash over George's education has been significant, sparking debate about the monarchy's future. Supporters of Catherine's approach argue that George deserves a childhood that prioritizes emotional well-being and personal development over rigid tradition. They believe this could shape a well-rounded leader who is attuned to the challenges faced by everyday people, fostering a relatable and modern monarchy. On the other hand, proponents of Charles's view emphasize the importance of preserving royal traditions, which they argue have historically prepared monarchs for their demanding roles. They see structure, discipline, and responsibility as non-negotiable elements of a future king's upbringing. Adding complexity to the matter is George's reported disinterest in becoming king. This sentiment, which has attracted attention from royal commentators, supports Catherine's argument for a more flexible, individual-focused upbringing. A modern educational path combined with exposure to everyday experiences could help George embrace his role with a sense of purpose rather than obligation. This approach might also foster a relatable monarch who resonates with the public, creating a more balanced and adaptable monarchy. Ultimately, George's upbringing reflects the evolving dynamics of the royal family, caught between tradition and modernity. King Charles's insistence on continuity and preparation contrasts with Catherine and William's desire to prioritize their children's autonomy and well-being. As public interest in the monarchy remains high, decisions about George's future education will likely define not only his development but also the monarchy's trajectory in the 21st century. Whether George follows the traditional path or a more progressive one, his journey will be pivotal in shaping the monarchy's future, balancing reverence for its legacy with a forward-looking approach to leadership. The differing perspectives on Prince George's upbringing reflect a critical moment for the British monarchy, highlighting a tension between tradition and evolution. Catherine's support for a modern, contemporary approach aims to help George view his royal role as a choice rather than an unavoidable duty. By encouraging him to connect with his responsibilities on his own terms, Catherine hopes George might embody a more relatable monarchy that aligns with the public's growing desire for authenticity. In today's society, notions of duty are being questioned, especially among younger generations who prioritize work-life balance, mental health, and personal autonomy. George's reported disinterest in becoming king underscores this generational divide, signaling society's evolving attitudes toward monarchy and leadership. If George ultimately lacks a strong sense of calling to serve as king, it could signify that the role of monarch may need to adapt to meet the expectations of future generations. Both Catherine and Prince William understand the complexities of raising children in the public eye and appear committed to shielding George from undue pressure. Their approach focuses on allowing him to explore his personal interests rather than forcing him into the traditional royal mold. This progressive parenting style suggests that the monarchy of the future could look quite different from King Charles's vision. King Charles, in contrast, emphasizes the importance of continuity and tradition. His belief in a structured, traditional upbringing stems from the idea that the monarchy represents stability and resilience for the nation. He views George's education as an opportunity to instill a strong sense of historical continuity, ensuring that he is prepared to lead with a deep understanding of royal values and responsibilities. For Charles, tradition is the foundation that sets the monarchy apart as an enduring institution. His stance reflects a broader belief in the necessity of preserving royal principles in a rapidly changing world. The debate over George's future education serves as a microcosm of the larger question facing the monarchy. Should it evolve to align with modern values or adhere to the traditions that have historically defined it? Catherine favors an educational approach that prioritizes emotional well-being, individuality, and family togetherness, advocating for a nurturing environment where George can explore his personal interests. This perspective reflects a shift toward aligning the monarchy with contemporary values, particularly in relation to family life and mental health. Catherine's vision, supported by William, seeks to create a more adaptive and relatable monarchy that resonates with future generations. She believes that balancing royal responsibilities with personal freedom can produce a well-rounded, approachable leader. This modern approach suggests a willingness to evolve the monarchy to meet public sentiment, fostering a more human-centered institution. The contrasting views between Catherine and Charles underscore a defining moment for the monarchy's future. While Charles's traditionalism emphasizes historical legacy and duty, Catherine's modern perspective reflects a desire to embrace evolution and personal growth. This ongoing tension between old and new is indicative of the royal family's struggle to adapt to a changing world. The outcome of this debate could shape how future monarchs are raised and how the monarchy itself is perceived. As Prince George grows, the decisions surrounding his upbringing will influence not only his personal development, but also the monarchy's image in the 21st century. Whether he follows the traditional path envisioned by Charles or embraces the more balanced approach advocated by Catherine, his journey will set a precedent for future royal heirs. George's ability to reconcile tradition with modernity will reflect the monarchy's capacity to adapt while preserving its heritage, ultimately shaping its relevance for generations to come. King Charles has consistently championed a traditional approach to education, particularly for members of the royal family, as he believes it is instrumental in shaping future monarchs. His preference is deeply rooted in the long-standing royal tradition of sending heirs to elite boarding schools. These institutions are known for fostering resilience, discipline, and an unwavering sense of duty, qualities seen as essential for fulfilling the responsibilities of the monarchy. Charles himself attended Gordonstoun, a rigorous boarding school in Scotland, which he credits with shaping his character and instilling the values he deems critical for a royal role. Despite the school's challenging environment, marked by strict discipline and periods of isolation, Charles believes these experiences were vital in preparing him for the demands of public life. For him, the structured lifestyle and disciplined upbringing provided by such institutions serve as a rite of passage for anyone destined to take on the mantle of the monarchy. This belief forms the foundation of King Charles's desire for Prince George, his grandson and second in line to the throne, to follow a similar path. He views the traditional model of education as not just a historical custom but a necessary framework for cultivating the resilience and sense of responsibility required of a future king. Charles's insistence on this approach highlights his commitment to upholding the monarchy's legacy and ensuring continuity through adherence to established traditions. His perspective also reflects the generational values of the royal family, where independence, discipline, and preparation for public life have always been emphasized. However, this traditional stance has sparked a significant debate within the royal family and among the public. At the heart of the opposing view is Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge, who advocates for a more modern approach to parenting and education. Catherine's philosophy focuses on emotional well-being, balanced development, and a nurturing upbringing for her children. She believes that a future monarch like Prince George should grow up with a sense of normalcy and have the opportunity to connect with peers outside the royal bubble. This approach emphasizes individuality, emotional intelligence, and compassionate leadership, qualities she feels are equally important for someone destined to lead. Catherine's parenting style is evident in her active involvement in her children's lives. For example, she limits screen time, encourages outdoor activities like gardening, and promotes hobbies such as cooking. Reports suggest that George enjoys video games, a common interest among children his age, and Catherine ensures he has the space to explore his interests while maintaining boundaries. This hands-on approach reflects her desire to balance the expectations of royal life with the happiness and personal development of her children. She envisions a future for George where he can navigate his royal duties with relatability and a deeper connection to the public, fostering a leadership style that is more human and accessible. Caught between these contrasting perspectives is Prince William, who must carefully navigate the tension between tradition and modernity. As a future king and father, William understands the importance of honoring royal traditions while also embracing the evolving values he shares with Catherine. His own experiences growing up as a royal, combined with his wife's influence, have shaped a parenting approach that seeks balance. William has spoken openly about monitoring his children's screen time and participating in their hobbies, reflecting his commitment to providing a relatively normal childhood while gradually preparing them for their royal responsibilities. This debate over Prince George's education highlights broader questions about the future of the monarchy. On one side, King Charles sees a traditional education as essential for instilling resilience and duty, believing that the rigorous environment of a boarding school builds character and prepares future monarchs for the pressures of their role. On the other side, Catherine's modern vision challenges this notion, prioritizing emotional well-being, individuality, and a more relatable approach to leadership. Ultimately, the decisions made regarding Prince George's upbringing will not only shape his development, but could also redefine the monarchy for generations to come. The choice between tradition and modernity reflects a larger conversation about how the royal family can remain relevant in a changing world, while preserving the values that have defined it for centuries. Whether George follows the path of past monarchs or embarks on a new, modern trajectory, his education and upbringing will serve as a pivotal moment in the evolution of the British monarchy. Prince William's parenting approach reflects a blend of his own traditional royal upbringing and his and Catherine's shared commitment to fostering a healthy, modern family environment. This shift is evident in how William monitors his children's screen time, encouraging responsible engagement with technology while promoting a balanced lifestyle. His embrace of a more modern parenting style reflects a desire to keep his children grounded, even as they navigate the inevitable public scrutiny tied to their royal roles. Recently, King Charles reportedly expressed concern, remarking, "I tried to warn him," highlighting his unease with the younger royals diverging from traditional values. William, however, balances this tradition with a focus on George's personal interests, such as his love for sports and curiosity about the world, while preparing him for the significant responsibilities he will one day inherit. The debate over George's future education epitomizes this generational divide. While King Charles may favor a traditional boarding school, such as Eton, Catherine and William might lean toward a day school that allows George to return home daily, fostering a sense of family togetherness. Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge, prioritizes creating a supportive, grounded environment for her children, emphasizing stability and normalcy despite the unique pressures of royal life. Her vision includes a modern approach to parenting that encourages emotional intelligence and personal development over rigid adherence to tradition. For King Charles, resilience is a cornerstone of royal life, and he views boarding school as the most effective way to prepare George for the scrutiny and pressures he will face as the future face of the monarchy. Charles believes that a rigorous, structured educational environment instills the discipline and fortitude necessary to meet the challenges of kingship. His stance underscores a commitment to continuity and the preservation of traditional values, which he sees as essential to royal leadership. He views this as a call to ensure that George develops the skills to navigate his future role with competence and resilience, even in a rapidly changing world. Catherine's perspective, however, represents a shift in royal parenting philosophy. She and William are hands-on parents who emphasize the importance of mental health, adaptability, and fostering individuality. Catherine believes George's education should empower him as both a royal and an individual, providing room to explore his personal interests and passions. By opting